Hi again. I want to jump right into this discussion about getting the best out of AI to make sure we get to as much as possible. But let me quickly introduce our wonderful speakers. I am here with Stephen Douglas, the head of market strategy at Spirent Communications, Inanç Çakiroğlu, the CIO at VEON, and Hector Montes, the CCO at TUPL. Thanks, gentlemen, for being here. So we're going to start with a question for Inanç. Where is Verizon placing its biggest AI bets? Consumer experience, network automation, revenue growth. How do you balance innovation with operational efficiency when introducing new solutions?
Um, Thank you very much for the question. I believe we can split the answer into two main parts. AI is a very broad term, and now most of the people and we are all using AI as Gen AI. But actually, the AI was in place for more than 3 decades. And as telecom operators, we have been heavily using the traditional machine learning and the deep learning models in our operation for many aspects and for many different business streams. But we are actually as a telecom operator, we are working and we are staying on the data ocean. We utilize all our digital footprint for our customers and the operation. And let's think like that. On the revenue side, we have been developing upsell, cross-sell, churn models, best offers, recommendation engines for our products and digital products. And all those predictive models, we have been working maybe more than 20 years in the place. And we had credit scoring, fraud management systems, network optimization scenarios, fault prediction, self-organizing network use cases, and the contact center efficiency and the effectiveness use cases. So all those kind of things are working on the traditional AI, incorporating the machine learning and the deep learning capabilities. So this is one part of the operation, and this is heavily used. Actually, it is also it will be continued to use by the network operators and the telco operators. When we speak on the Gen AI, it's definitely it creates a great disruption in the industry, and we usually augment Gen AI intelligence and the capabilities into our digital services, provide more enhanced features to our customers, and to create some more hyper personalization around our offers. We develop large language models in underserved language, which are not covered by the main and the big players, existing solutions and the tools. Most of the use cases that what we are talking about on the generative AI is more around the customer experience, customer service operations. But what we believe there is a great potential in the revenue side because Gen AI offers us a great capability for hyper personalization. Hyper personalization is the key for the more revenue generation. And also, agentic AI provides a great level of efficiency and to leverage excellence in operations, excellence in the business operations, and there will be 100 different use cases will be in place in the near future. Gen AI, I mean, basically it transforms all the business and as well as our business and all contact centers and all our customer contact operations will be changed in the near future. Regarding balancing innovation and operational efficiency, our starting point is always simple. We love technology, but we are very mindful about implementing the technology in a way that will be also creating a kind of efficiency and the return of the investment in the short term. We carefully evaluate all use cases, both in terms of technology and innovation, and both in terms of the valid use case perspective. And we always start with the small and the smart scale solutions, small MVPs, try fast, fail fast, and if it's successful, we expand it rapidly. And we also have ability to transfer knowledge from one operation to another and to use some sort of a center of excellence inside of operations because we are operating in the region and we have different countries, we have different operations. So it is very easy for us to transfer knowledge and to transfer one use case from one place to another, or use of the existing knowledge and the existing use case of one operator into another operator.
Okay, great. Thank you for that overview about what VEON is kind of doing with AI right now. And Hector, as he said, AI is broad. It's a lot. It means a lot of different things, but it can also enable a lot of things. But from your perspective, as telcos are continuing on this journey, what are the biggest barriers they're facing in fully leveraging AI, and how does TUPL help overcome them?
Yeah, so the main barrier we have encountered working with the telecom operators is the digitalization of the expert knowledge, especially for complex tasks, right? So complex tasks where one handle are multiple data points that are required to make decisions. And if there is something that is plenty in telecom is data, right? So a lot of data. And then also those tasks that require a domain subject matter expertise, right? A human expert that apply that knowledge to make decisions. TUPL provide a no-code approach to allow that this digitalization of the expert knowledge, capturing them into use cases for different processes, being around customer problems, no customer care, or network problems, knock or performance anomalies, and so. Plus, we contribute also with our extensive telco and AI expertise working side by side with our customers. Furthermore, TUPL solution also combines predictive AI and generative AI, as Inanç says. They have been the predictive AI and machine learning technologies has been already out there for some time, and we do it in a way similar as how the human brain works, right? So we have two hemispheres in the brain, each one representing a crucial AI capability. On the left side, we have predictive AI, the analytical powerhouse. This is like the brain, logical hemisphere designed to process vast amount of data, just like an engineer expert would do. On the right side of the brain, we have the generative AI, that is the emotional, creative counterparts, and that enable a more natural, human-like interaction and communication. Think of customer service agent powered by Gen AI responding accurately with empathy, clarity, and context awareness. That's improving the customer satisfaction while reducing the human workload.
Yeah, thank you. And to go over to Stephen to talk a little bit about this from the network testing perspective, right? What are the most promising AI use cases you're seeing in telecom and network testing?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just to follow on what you've heard. I mean, there's three key areas we're seeing at the moment. I think the first of those is really around the operation support system space, where we're seeing sort of a lot of telcos starting to move to bring AI ops into practice. And you've sort of heard that, AI machine learning is not massively new within this, the support space. What is probably newer is just more of that productionization of the predictive AI coming from that for things like root cause or automated root cause analysis. You're seeing a lot of focus on anomaly detection, trying to identify those very, very small issues, very, very hard to pinpoint in the network, but can cause a lot of issues. And fault prediction, being more advanced in identifying where faults are, so you can prioritize potential fixes or human interaction where it's still required. So you're seeing a trend there going on at the moment. I think the second one we're seeing quite a lot of focus now is from the monetization perspective, though. How can you actually leverage the telecom network to be part of the AI value chain? So not just using AI, but also using the network to actually host potentially models for third parties, whether it's sovereign AI for government, whether it's enterprise AI. And around that there, you're seeing a lot of the operators starting to optimize their networking infrastructure, how to deal with the specific traffic behaviors and performance required. If you're going to potentially, say, host inferencing at the edge, what type of SLAs am I going to need to deliver that? What technologies are we going to have to put in place? Do we need to support segment routing? Do we need to go to IPv6? Can we use 5G network slices? Can we use wireline slices like flexible Ethernet? Lots of technology choices there to try to actually deliver on that new types of traffic behaviors and models that AI applications are requiring. And I think the third one, Catherine, would be really around, very specific to the testing space itself. A lot of testing, in reality, has been manual over the years, or heavily scripted. And I think what you're starting to see in the testing space is the rise of AI agents. And, to Hector's point, these agents in the first incarnation, are very much generative, conversational, allowing you to basically, hey, say, develop me a test case, run the test case, provide me a root cause analysis of the test results. And that's sort of that gradual implementation where you're seeing the test engineers, whether they're in the operators, whether they're in the lab environments, that creating more efficiency and agility by using those agentic solutions. I think you're starting to also see the early trials of then the full sort of closed loop autonomous version of that, where it's not just the conversational agent in place, but actually the agents are speaking to each other, and especially for closed loop actions. And, if I go back to that sort of AI ops idea of, of fault prediction, you can sort of imagine here an agent talking to a test agent saying, hey, we predict there's a potential fault. Trigger a suite of tests to verify, is it a real fault? If it is, tell the orchestrator to maybe reroute the traffic, run a test to validate, did it actually resolve it? Did the traffic have no degradations? All without human interaction. Now, we're not there yet, but you can sort of see the journey the industry is going on at this stage, starting with that conversational sort of agent and gradually moving to agent, closed loop types of environments. I think that's the big trends that we're sort of seeing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So Inanç, you gave us a really good overview of how VEON is kind of implementing AI and thinking about AI. But do you have an example of a successful AI implementation across your network or services that you feel kind of exceeded expectations?
I think most notable and the interesting use case that we have developed so far is developing our own large language model in Kazakhstan language, Kazakh language, in Kaskot in Kazakhstan. Everybody is asking that. I mean, there are plenty of models around the world, and there are very, very big players in the industry. Why we chosen to develop to our own models? The answer is very basic. Actually, the existing models, they are pretty good if you want to use them in English, in French, in German, but in the underserved language, like a Kazakh language, their performance is not satisfactory. This was the main driver for us to develop our own the LLM model for the Kazakh language, and actually the performance of the model has beaten the popular industrial large language models existing in the industry. So we have the most powerful Kazakh the large language model at the moment in place, and we would like to also replicate this approach in other operations which are also underserved in their local language. This is one aspect. And the other aspect is, okay, I mean, maybe in the future, there will be also new models coming into the picture, and there will be maybe better performance model in the local language. But the thing is, in order to utilize it, to get best out of it, best out of AI, you need to understand how those large language models are working, how generative AI is working, because sometimes you need to fine tune it. Sometimes you need to prune it. Sometimes you need to convert all these large language models into small language models for some specific purposes and specific usage. Without knowing to train a large language model, you cannot be achieving the 100% efficiency on the AI usage. So this was one of the reasons that we developed. And the other side, okay, maybe from the return of investment perspective, using the traditional large language models which are available on the public cloud, they make sense. But you never know about the future. In the future, it might be, I mean, the traffic might be much more larger. The cost of the usage of this model is much more bigger. So you have to have this capability if you would like to operate in that area. And the AI is a strategic area for us. So, okay, I mean, we also use some sort of a traditional AI models. If it is useful, it is we could create a value. We definitely use it. But apart from this, we would like to we want to create our capability, and it was a very good foundation. I mean, it was very successful. Now we started to utilize it. We have recently introduced AI tutor using Kaz LLM, Kazakhstan language models, for the students and for the people to use in their trainings and in their study. It was also a very, very successful business case. We have lots of digital services. Actually, we believe in the digital future, and we don't call ourselves as a traditional telco, core telco operator. We call VEON as a digital service provider and a digital experience provider. And we have lots of digital services. We think that augmenting AI is the key for the success of the digital future. So, for example, in one of our operations, we have a TV entertainment service let's say they were similar to Netflix. And we developed a conversational bot that user can have a interaction with the engine for content selection and for the content search. You know, the traditional ways, you just say, you would like to watch a movie, you just log in into the, the platform, and you try to select something, either searching the name of the movie, name of the content, or the genre of the content. But in our cases, you can just have a dialogue with the large language model. You can just tell that which kind of movie you would like to use, which kind of features you would like to see, and it gives you some nice recommendation about the content. We believe that this conversational augmentation of AI will be the feature for all the business usage. And also we have some the exceeding expectation, the traditional AI models, especially for the network operation, for network traffic prediction, load balancing, and the self-organizing network topic to organize and to plan our radio networking more efficiently. We heavily use AI, and the results are pretty satisfactory.
Okay, great. Thank you for providing some kind of specific ways that you're using what Stephen and Hector mentioned kind of about these agents for customer service, these AI agents. So Hector, back to you. Which AI use cases is currently delivering the fastest ROI for your customers? For example, are you seeing more demand for kind of these proactive AI solutions that Stephen mentioned that fix these anomalies before users even notice them?
So the main set of use case delivering a quick return of investments are mainly in three areas. No? One that we have already mentioned, no? Everything related to the customer complaint management. And this is also where we have seen the best results also on proactive AI, no? As I will mention. Then the second one is on energy saving, energy and emission saving, while making sure that the quality is preserved. No? And the third one, as also Stephen mentioned, is on the network fault and anomaly resolution. No? So for the first one, the customer complaint management is about resolving the customer's problems live, on call, without opening tickets, right? So no involvement of technical departments. So the type of return, or the drivers for the return, really come from reducing the ticket reduction by 90% and increasing the first call resolution by 5 percentage points, right? So this is used across call centers, no, by the agents, no, retail shops as customers come in, no, and they have inquiries, but also internal help desk, no, like the internal help desk that support the retails or wholesale partners or the second level of technical customer service. For the second one, the energy consumption, this is really about reducing the energy where we are getting, especially mobile networks, we are getting energy consumption reduction of 15% without impacting, of course, no, different networks, no, different environments, different cities, no, different impact, no, but more or less around that number. And then the third one, that was this analyzing and acting on network faults and anomalies. So we are obtaining around 80% less human effort and reducing the time to repair. Definitely on the proactive AI, it has been already a reality for years for many of our customers. So our solution with T-Mobile US, for example, has been handling proactive care customer issues since 2019 with great results, more than 600,000 proactive customer fixes, no, per month. No? So quite significant. So main KPIs and business outcomes delivered to our customers are primarily focused on this efficiency improvement, right? So we automate the complex tasks that otherwise are handled manually by human experts, and we follow the same approach that Inanç mentioned at the beginning, no? This MVP and expand. No? You start small and you expand. So unlike simpler automation, like robotic process automation, the intelligent process automation goes after complex processes that, as I mentioned, otherwise are handled by experts. And this reduction of man hours by expert teams has a double benefit. No? Is the efficiency improvement of less man hours required to do a job, but it's also the improvement on efficacy. So improve the outcome of the job, right? So that those human experts can really address new issues and, more importantly, can focus on the highest customer impacting issues. No?
Yeah, great. And Hector, I like what you said earlier about kind of traditional AI being the analytical part of the human brain or human experience, and then Gen AI being the more creative, perhaps even emotional aspect, which is super needed, but it also introduces a level of, emotions are complex, they're unpredictable, they're a little bit messy. So, Stephen, how are CSPs validating the performance of trustworthiness in AI-driven networks, especially as we're introducing Gen AI, which adds layers of complexity and unpredictability?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the interesting challenges at the moment of our times is, how do you guarantee the models being used, they're not hallucinating, or gradually, deteriorating in their performance.
Yeah.
And even the outcomes, if you are going to automate them, how do you guarantee that the actual decision that's being put in place is actually a good one for the operational live network? And in many cases, there's multiple ways that are being looked at this at the moment, in terms of, creating sort of what I would call a golden copy of an output and being able to test whether that's consistent. This could be very, very simple. It's from asking a Gen AI the same question multiple times and slightly tailoring how you ask it, but are you getting the same result? And if the result starts to deviate, you can quickly identify issues that are starting to appear, through to actually simply actively testing its recommendations. So we're working with a number of operators today, and they're doing sort of dynamic configuration changes on the networks. Before that potentially impacts any traffic or customers, you can quickly run a test on the live operational network to say, hey, was this decision that the AI or recommendation, did it have a good effect? Else don't implement it, or
roll back rapidly. So there are multiples of those types of options which can be done. I think the other one that's probably slightly more complex is also then on the one we don't maybe talk about as much as the security side of it, and testing the security of AI, and trying to understand the risks associated with it. So there's a lot of focus at the moment trying to look at testing the efficacy, the security efficacy, from really two dimensions. One, are the security systems that we're putting in place around it impacting AI's performance? So it can be areas like potentially latency of responses because the security systems are in the way, through to that the AI has been potentially contaminated from a learning stage. And how do you then isolate that? And then how do you actually potentially roll back out of that, without having to maybe go through a complete relearning cycle? So there's lots of sort of areas at the moment that are being looked at. There isn't what I would say today like a standard process yet that the industry's got, because we still are in on a learning phase. I would say what we're seeing the best operators doing at the moment is allowing themselves to actually implement rapidly in the network, but have mechanisms to allow them to roll back. So basically, if what the hyperscalers would call fast failing, and I think we're starting to see a lot of telcos starting to approach that.
Okay, cool, great. Inanç, you said that you don't like to call yourselves just a telco. You're kind of a digital service providers. And we know that AI is really important, but it's not the entire picture about kind of the digital transformation that telcos need to take and are currently undergoing. So where would you say AI fits into VEON's broader digital transformation strategy?
Yeah, actually, this is a little controversial, but I always claim that as telco operators, we don't know which kind of business we are in. Traditional sense, this is telco business, and basically you provide a kind of the core telco services, the call data, whatever. But actually, it's not like that. We are in lifestyle business. We provide communication service, but it is connectivity. We are connecting people among each other. We are connecting people to applications. We are connecting people to outside world. And this is one side of the picture on the communication side. And as VEON, as I explained in the first two questions, we provide digital services, digital experiences to customers. We aim to enrich our customer life with our digital offering and digital services. And in that sense, AI is a great differentiator. We don't call AI as artificial intelligence. We call AI as augmented intelligence. We think that AI is the only way making digital services better digital services, making our users better users, making our teacher better teacher, doctors better doctors, and the farmers better farmers. So AI is a great differentiator in that sense. It's enriching the features. It provides a very good quality of the service and a very comfortable user for the people. They enjoy your services. They enjoy your content. They enjoy your offering. They enjoy your offering, which are strengthened by the AI. And on the other side of the picture, in order to measure the customer quality, your service quality, your usage, and in order to get best out of your digital services, AI is also a great tool to incorporate with. This is one aspect. The other aspect is, if you ask me, what is the key success factor for behind a successful service, behind a successful product, is personalization and the hyper personalization. I think this is the key, and the AI is a great enabler in that sense. It is by AI at the moment, it is possible to create personalized interaction in real time with all your customer base, also incorporating your existing telco data, CRM data, and to create an environment, create a kind of a structure that you can customize all the messages and all the interactions to all your customer base automatically and in real time. This is what we lacked before. We couldn't interact in real time with our customer base before because it was basically not possible and we didn't have enough tools, but now we have. And also, another disruption is our contact centers and our methodology, how we contact to our customers and how we interact with our customers. Still, we use the traditional channels, traditional contact centers, call centers, and other things. But AI is disrupting this field and this operation heavily. And I believe that in the near future, all our existing legacy contact methodology, contact use case will be absolute, that we will be using some different ways as we started the chatbots and the agentic AI applications to keep our interaction with the customer in an intelligent way. This is how we see the future, and this is how we incorporate the AI into our digital transformation strategy.
Excellent. So we have about 5 minutes left, and we have some really good audience questions coming in. Hector, I'm going to direct this one to you. But of course, anyone can jump in at any time. What's the single biggest, that's tough when they want one, but what's the single biggest non-technical hurdle CSPs face in scaling their AI strategy?
Yeah, it's as I said at the beginning, the key aspect is being able to digitalize the knowledge. There is a wealth of knowledge and experience within the telcos, no? With these non-AI technical users, no? Like network engineers and our operations managers, right? So how do we capture that? So this is why the approach we took in TUPL from the inception was to democratize the access to these technologies and creating a no-code approach where those experts can interact through graphical interface, and lately also combined with generative AI, they can shift the working paradigm from solving individual problems as they occur to solving new type of problems. No, they are digitalizing that. So this way we are really empowering them to create the automation, and then we can also complement with our assistant because we have also a wealth of knowledge and experience on that. No? So the other aspect that is key is, whenever you have any autonomous decision-making engine, then you need to get explainable AI, right? We're talking about complex processes, right? And you have an expert, a human expert that is used to do it himself or herself, right? So then being able to provide a system that provide explainable AI is a key success for adoption. Is digitalizing and then being able to explain, in a way, win the hearts and minds of those experts. So it needs to be a completely opposite to black box, and in a way, AI is perceived as a black box. No, so this is the key that companies like TUPL needs to provide to the telcos to enable it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I have a few questions around AIRAN. I'm going to try to combine them. Stephen, I will ask these to you, but again, Inanç, Hector, either of you want to comment on AIRAN, please do after. So the first question is AIRAN a strategic imperative for CSPs, but I want to also kind of combine it with this other one that came in around maybe what is the most surprising or impactful new revenue that could come from AIRAN.
Yeah, I think the one answer maybe answers both here in terms of that it's distributed inferencing fabric on the RAN, and I know this may be controversial, but there's definitely we're going to embed AI in the RAN. That's a given to drive better spectral efficiency, better energy efficiency on it. But I think where an AI native RAN doubles up as a distributed inferencing fabric, where you have GPU allocation and the architecture of the RAN is built with accelerators, with GPUs, I think the RAN becomes beyond just a delivery mechanism. It becomes a monetization capability. And what I mean by that is that if you look and track how the AI applications and traffic is starting to perform and behave, you're going to require a lot more reliable, low latency inferencing done at the edges of your networks. It's as simple as that. It's going to be novel new traffic patterns between device-oriented AI, which may be happening on your handset, and breakouts at the edge. And that means the radio itself has the opportunity to actually host AI workloads. And that actually, I think, flips a telco from being sort of just a bandwidth wholesaler into a real-time compute platform. And I'm going to, personally, I think that's in the next 5 years, you'll see that rewrite the complete value chain incrementally further than any spectral efficiency you're going to get from embedding AI on the RAN. So I know it is controversial because there's a lot of debate at the moment. Yes, we're on the pathway of embedding it or using like areas like the RIC controllers. And no, who would want to put GPUs costly at the edges of the networks? But if you look at where the traffic is moving, how the applications are going to need that, how processing is going to be split between device and edge, this is the one opportunity telcos I personally believe have, is to double up the RAN as a distributed inference fabric. That's where the real monetization value could be.
Excellent. Inanç, Hector, would either of you like to respond? Keeping in mind we have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I agree. Although there was a comment, just one more addition. I think dynamic resource allocation by the AIRAN will be very impactful in the near future, because what blocks us to provide the real-time offering sometimes is our let's say the lack of resources in the at specific time, at a specific region. We basically, without such kind of a features, we basically statically the develop and optimize our network. But with the AIRAN, you can real-time dynamically allocate necessary resources in the necessary region, in necessary point of time. So it makes us able to provide more dynamic offers to the customer side, leveraging our network resources. And another thing is, from 10 to 20% of our radio network resources from time to time, because of some error, because of some faults, they are unusable. With the AIRAN, it is possible to make some prediction before all these faults is happening and to prevent them happening, and it will provide a more robust network that you can also enjoy, because as long as you have network, you have revenue. So it is not, from my perspective, cost saving, it's a kind of a revenue generator, the feature that we can incorporate AIRAN capabilities.
Great. Hector, did you want to finish us out here?
Resonating on what Inanç said at the very beginning, no? That this is a technology that enable personalization at scale, right? So then AIRAN is really about that, no? As he was pointing out now, and also we have these two angles, no? It's like we personalize the experience, these behaviors, no, and lifestyle. And at the same time, we can maximize the use of the resources, and we can minimize the impact of the energy, the emissions, no, and the cost, no, associated to the energy. So I think that's going to be the key.
Perfect. Thank you, all three of you, for your insights today, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the event.